If you've been struggling a lot recently and you feel like you're on the verge of quitting, giving up, throwing it all in, you are actually on the verge of a breakthrough. And I'm going to tell you in this video why you shouldn't stop and what this all actually means for you in the grand scheme of your growth. And I'm making this video mostly because I am in that exact season of my life as well. And this is really what I've learned through this process. I'm in the process of moving to Arizona, which is on the other side of the country for me, away from my family and doing things on my own. I'm having an in-person event coming up in July, which is a few months away. I'm working a side hustle right now to build up some money and to save so I can move out and have a nice little nest egg for when I'm out on my own. Working my ass off with making content, sharing my life, and also focusing on my fitness, like changing up things with my diet and my plan and my workout routines and my sleep schedule, and everything is just all happening at once, right? I'm not complaining. Like, this is the life that I chose. These are the sacrifices that I signed up for. The frustrating part can sometimes be when you don't really see the result coming immediately. And you start to question, well, how am I going to do this? How am I going to make it happen? How am I going to be successful? How am I going to make this change? And what I'm learning through this process, and what I want to encourage you to think about as well, is to not be as concerned with how you're going to do these things, but to be concerned with who you're becoming in the process and the pursuit of those things. You know, I've been very much relying on surrender and letting go of the things that are not in my direct control, because I'm doing the actions, the daily things that I know that I'm supposed to do. The rest, I'm leaving it up to God. And truthfully, you should too. Because it's pointless to try to stress over when this is going to happen, how it's going to happen, and to try to control all of the outcomes. All you can control, all I can control, are our inputs, what we do every day, and how we respond to that. One of the things that I teach my students is called what I call the ARC method. I love my acronyms. First is the awareness. So you're building awareness. What is it that you want? Who do you want to be? Where do you want to go? First, you have to build awareness with the life that you're building, the kind of relationship you want. Everything in life that you want starts with an idea. It starts with a thought process of what it looks like. Actually, the next and most challenging part, I should say, is the resistance. So after awareness comes resistance. Why? Because anytime you're stepping into something new and you're declaring something else that you want in the world, everything that have held you back up to this point is going to show up. Basically, your ego is going to be tested. Do you really want that change? Are you sure you want to make more money in your life? You're positive that this is the kind of relationship that you want to attract. You're sure this physique is the one that you want? This career is the one that you've chosen? How badly do you really want those things? I'm a believer that the more resistance that you're facing, the bigger the change you're about to undergo. Because resistance doesn't show up when it's something that's easy to us, when it's something that we can easily have. Like, you know, they say the devil doesn't tempt those that he isn't threatened by. The enemy doesn't see you as a threat. You're not going to be challenged. You're not going to have this resistance. But because what you're doing is impactful, it's valuable, it's meaningful, you're going to have resistance. Your ego does not like change. So your demons, your thoughts, your ego, your inner thoughts, your dialogue, whatever you want to name it as, is going to start to rear its ugly head. Maybe I shouldn't do this. I don't know. Am I really cut out for this kind of life? Can I actually make it happen? Am I good enough? If I actually succeed, will I be able to maintain it? All these things will start to surface. And these are the thoughts that I've had recently of like, man, can I actually do this? Am I actually capable of being this kind of guy? These are all normal thoughts, by the way. Like, there's nothing wrong with you for having them. In fact, I would argue that if you're having those thoughts, that means you're in the right direction. That means you're going somewhere, the more resistance that you're facing. Your relationship to resistance is going to be the biggest differentiator for if you make a change or if you stay the same. Because the ego just wants to stay comfortable. It wants to be in the status quo, what it's known, what it's always known. And the minute you try to change the status quo, you're gonna face a lot of internal struggle and change that begins to happen. So the last piece of that, as you're facing the resistance, the most important piece, the only piece that really makes a difference, is your choices. What are you choosing? Are you choosing to stay scared? Are you choosing to stay small? Are you choosing who you've always been, to stay comfortable? To do the same thing, repeat old patterns, live in the same reality. That's what we all generally do as a default. And my vices, let me tell you, man, have they been flaring up. Now, I've been good. Like, I haven't been falling as much as I normally do, but I'd be lying if I say I was perfect. I'm not. I fall to my vices. I indulge a little bit too much in food and a little too much self-pleasure with dirty websites and staying up super late, watching movies all night, staying on my phone, doom scrolling. I'd be lying if I say I didn't fall to those. Especially the closer I get to these deadlines and the things that I'm building with my move and my event. Of course, I'm feeling it. It's all hitting me at once. But the important thing to know, when the resistance shows up, what are we going to do? Are we going to choose the same actions that we've been choosing to stay in the same situation, or are we going to make a new choice? A choice within the direction of the identity that we want to have, the man that we're claiming to be. Because eventually that is just how you become someone else. That's how you upgrade your identity. Is over time, enough choices in that direction, you build evidence. With enough evidence, you build a belief system. You start to believe and think about yourself differently. With enough beliefs stacked over time, that becomes part of your identity. It's just who you are. You don't have to think about it anymore. It becomes second nature. That's like a smoker who wants to quit smoking. Well, you first have to identify as a non-smoker. You have to make that choice. I don't want to be a smoker anymore. I'm a non-smoker. This is who I am. You're going to get tempted. Maybe your friends are still smokers, so you hang around them, and they start to tempt you. Hey, man, try this one cigarette. Come on, this one time. Have fun. Loosen up a little bit. But you know that's not who you want to be anymore. So you have to make new choices. Maybe stop hanging around those people. Maybe instead of resorting to a cigarette when you feel stressed out, maybe work out. Or maybe get a punching bag and start taking on some fighting classes. Again, these are just examples. But do you understand the principle here? Is you have to make a new choice when you're faced with the resistance. And man, that has been challenging. To choose something new because we're so used to choosing the same thing, because comfort is familiar. And what is familiar usually gets picked. What's the quote? Familiarity breeds contempt. It's like you start to resent yourself over time because you know you're meant for so much more, but you keep choosing the same thing over and over again, and we self-sabotage and stay in our old ways and our old patterns. And you get pissed because you look up in the calendar and you're like, damn, it's January already. It's a new year and I'm still the same guy. Not much has changed. And I just don't want that to happen to myself, and I don't want that to happen to you. Because I know if you're like me, you resonate with my videos, you're probably going through something similar. Maybe not with the same content of like what I'm doing in my life with building a business and, moving across the country and everything, but I guarantee it's the same essence of what I'm talking about, of the same feeling that maybe you're having with self-sabotage and facing resistance. And I really believe that like in those moments when you're feeling the most resistance, you're about to have the biggest breakthrough. I actually had a moment like that the other day where I was just driving in my car doing my side hustle. I do Lyft on the side, apart from this business. And I was just feeling really down. Like I was just like in a moody state. I wasn't feeling confident. I wasn't feeling excited. I was just like, it was a struggle to just get through the day. And, in the moments, like, I was just emotional in my car. I was just, like, thinking to myself, like, what the fuck, man? Like one of those days you're just like, all right, I guess we'll do this. And again, you're not going to be 100% every day. I'm never 100% every single day. But that day in particular, I was noticeably low. I felt myself feeling low. I had a moment I just had to give myself that grace and say, it's cool. It's fine. It's okay to feel like this, because I know on the other side of this is everything that I've been looking for, everything that I've been waiting on. Because I really believe that like everything that you've been praying towards, everything that you want, God's not punishing you because you're not gonna have it, or you're not worthy, or you're not good enough to possess these things. I really believe that God is shaping you. You're being challenged to be transformed. In those moments when you feel like you're ready to give up, those are the moments that you should go even farther in. Lean into them. Lean into the resistance. And be cautious and conscious of the choices that you make during those moments. In these moments, it can feel like the world's falling apart and it's impossible. You can't see the end to the tunnel here, but I promise you, if you stick with it long enough and you're willing to undergo the most resistance, you're going to reap the most reward. Like if you're willing to face all of the adversity and continue to go through it regardless of how it challenges you, you're going to be transformed. You're going to have an upgrade, whether that's making more money or starting a business that flourishes, creating a relationship that is worthwhile and meaningful and full of connection and love and joy, creating a lifestyle where you're fulfilled every day and you're walking around like, holy shit, this is my life and I'm so excited that I created this thing. Anything meaningful comes on the other side of something that is very, very challenging. I've been working on myself for about almost 10 years at this point. And I'm still not where I want to be totally. Like this business is still not where I want it to be. My physique is still not where I want it to be. My finances still aren't where I want it to be. My relationships still aren't where I want them to be. But the tenacity, the resilience that you have in those moments is going to make all the difference. Awareness is first. Where are you going? What do you want? Why is that important to you? And then you're going to face resistance. My mentor once said that any moment you declare all of that you are which in the world, all of what you're not starts to show up. So what are you going to do in those moments? You have to make a choice. What are you choosing? Every day you have a choice. You either put a vote towards the man you're becoming or the man that you've always been. And I can't put it more simply than that. At your current level, you're not going to sustain the kind of life that you want. You're not. Because if you were, you'd have that life already. You'd be in that position. But you're not there yet because you're not fully transformed as the character, as the man who's ready to support that type of life. So there needs to be an anointing, if you will. There needs to be a pain period, a hero's journey. That's the hero's journey. You're going on the path. You're going to slay dragons and fight evil on your path. Eventually, you make it to the castle. You make it to the treasure. You make it to the maiden who you rescue, the princess who you rescue. It's like that's just the journey of every man. Like I believe every man in his own way has to go through this type of process. Hopefully you can see yourself in what I'm saying here, because this is all stuff I've experienced within the last few months, especially. I'd say 2026 easily has tested me the most mentally, probably in any year that I remember, especially as long as I've had a business. And man, a lot of good I know is coming from this, but it's tough, man. In the moment, it feels tough. It feels like the weight of the world is on your shoulders. It feels almost impossible at times. But if anything, I want this video to be a reminder to just keep going. Keep fighting. Keep choosing. And eventually, life will choose back. I wanted that to sound profound. Maybe it did, maybe it didn't. But I don't know. It just felt right. So if you like the video, give it a thumbs up. And let me know down below, do you relate to any of this, man? Is this making sense? Are you in a similar season right now where you're feeling like you're on the edge of a transformation? You're on the cusp, but you don't quite have the words or the ways to describe what you're going through. And maybe you haven't found a brotherhood. Maybe you haven't found a community where you could talk about this and actually be held accountable to the things that you want. If you want to work with me personally, I support my men through this exact process of overcoming their old false identity of the man they've always been so they can step into a new identity, the one that God actually created you to be. So you can create a lifestyle that's fulfilling and attract a ideal relationship that complements who you're becoming. So if you want to do that, I have an event coming up in July, like I mentioned. It's July 23rd through July 26th. It's going to be in Las Vegas, Nevada. I only have 8 slots available because I only work with serious guys that are committed to their self-growth and are willing to go deep with themselves in this manner. There's a link down below to book a time with me so I can know what exactly your specific challenges are, where you want to be and what's getting in your way. And if you're a good fit for the event, we'll bring you on and you'll have a fucking amazing time and change the course of your life. I'm very excited about doing this kind of work because it is so personal to me, and I really believe it's the work that I'm put here to do. And if you want to ask me a question too, I'm always active on Instagram. My link is down below. I'm there every single day, so if you want to ask me a question about a specific issue, topic, or anything like that, my DMs are open. I'm always here to help. If anything I said here is resonating with you, make sure you subscribe to the channel. And that is, I think that's it. Yeah, that's it. That's everything I got, man. All my plugs. And that's just, yeah, man, that's just where I've been at. It's been really challenging these last few months, and I've been always focused on how am I going to do this? 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 And we all do this to an extent, but I'm learning, like, I'm very much focused more on the who I'm becoming rather than how I'm going to get there. Because when I become that man, when I become that kind of man, the how takes care of itself. The results will be there because of who I actually become. And so will yours. You have to upgrade your identity first. So what is important is that you make the proper choices and you don't choose what you've always chosen, but you make a new choice. You cast a new vote in the man that you want to be. And you keep showing up over time until eventually that just becomes who you are. You don't have to question it. You don't have to guess if this is you, or you worthy enough, or you good enough. You are. You're already worthy because God had this in store for you the entire time. He knows you're worthy because he sent his son for you. Again, we don't have to make this too deep into theology, but there's a faith aspect to this. I mean, that's what faith is, believing without seeing. And if anything, it's going to really build your spiritual resilience more than anything. And I can tell you that from experience. With that being said, man, hope you have an awesome rest of your day. I will catch you in the next video. Peace out.